Blaise here. I'm going to talk to you this way. You can probably hear me better this way. And I can also see this way.
Just pull the mic out.
So, oh, well, the cord's not long enough. But
Yes,
it is?
It's way long.
Oh, well, let me do this. Let me pull the cord out and go, hello.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. So I can talk to you like this. So, good day. Actually, we've got something completely different today that we've never done before. And that is we're going to be doing some oil painting demonstrations for you. I'm in the middle of recording, Dustin and I, a new course on figure drawing and painting, specializing with fabrics and or focusing on fabrics and cloth. And so I'm doing this big painting of my stepdaughter and this big fluffy dress. And, you know, we thought rather than lose any time on recording for the course, we figured we'd go ahead and just continue painting and recording for the course and have you guys in along for the ride. So you're going to be here asking questions and sitting with me while I'm actually recording for the course as well. And we're just going to do some creative editing so that when you buy the course, you won't even know this happened. So it's going to be really cool. But here it is. I'm doing this figurative painting in oil. This is my process. Yeah, I like to do a big loose underpainting first after I do my drawing. And now I'm doing my first initial color pass where I'm going in very bold and laying in the color. And then I'll go back in and spend quite some time refining and getting all kinds of nice little nuances. But today, you guys are going to see me kind of working in and just getting this underpainting. I've got Nick Birch in here with me, my business partner. I've got Dustin over on the other side of the room.
Hello.
And those guys are going to be helping out. I'm going to put the mic back on its stand. And hopefully we've got our sound issues worked out from what we had last week. So I'm hoping we don't have any clipping. And everything should be good. And without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and jump in and continue painting. And we can start doing some questions and answers. Actually, before I get to that, Nick, because I didn't check with you before we started, is there anything I need to announce? I can't remember. I know we've got a couple sales going. Nick.
Yes, sorry, I put the headphones on so I couldn't hear you for a second.
Right.
Yeah, we are doing this weekend only because you're doing an oil painting. Our oil painting course is 50% off.
That's
Treat
right.
Your Art Teacher.
I don't know how to slide for that, dang it.
That's okay.
That's okay.
And then also this weekend is your last chance to get our memberships for 35% off. That goes back up on Monday. So.
Oh, excellent. Okay. So, so if you want to get a membership to the website, do it now because they're 35% off. And because I'm oil painting today, the oil painting course back on the website is on sale.
And the membership really is the best deal. We've got over 300 hours of content at this point. Plus, it gets you everything we release over the next 12 months from the day you sign up. So,
yeah, that's the other thing I want to make sure that people understand because I don't know that a lot of people understand that. When you get the membership, that includes future courses that are going to be completed that year. So, you know, if I get a course done, 3 months, 6 months after you've signed up, you get that course as well. So it's a pretty good deal, eh?
That's a big deal there, bud.
here's a comment / question. Dang, you can basically do every kind of art, can't you?
I'm still working at, doggone it, rock stacking. I'm not very good at rock stacking. So
You're not bad, though. I'll be honest. People will be impressed when they see how far you've come. We'll do a rock stacking live stream one day.
Right. So what I'm doing is I've got plenty of photo reference for the pose. I love working with a live model, but something this long, it's just so much to ask a live model to sit for. And so we photograph instead. And then I like to go in and blow up certain parts of the reference in the photograph and use those as, here I've got the full image, but down here you probably can't see it, it's out of the shot. But I've got close-ups, various parts of the composition blown up.
And this is from a course on cloth, so it's probably worth pointing out to people that you're focusing on the folds and the fabrics, emphasizing
Yes.
that.
Yes. Well, it is figure drawing, but I wanted to make sure it's this is where the inspiration came from. We all, well, those of us that went to art school, we all did nude figure drawing. We all had to go in and do our nude figure drawing. But I know in art school, we rarely came out and did any kind of clothed figure drawing. And so we went out into the world really not knowing how to draw for illustration and things like that, other than going out and, hiring a live model or getting a friend to pose or something like that. So I thought it would be interesting to kind of do a course and specialize in some of the things that you'll encounter when you're doing illustrations with clothed models, and that is mainly fabric. So here we are, working away with our fabric. How we doing over there, fellas?
Doing great. Good.
So here I'm just want to get this shadow color right. And I right now I'm just looking at value and color. I don't want to, I'm not too worried about getting every nuance, every detail. The great thing about oil, and this is one thing I like to do with oil, is build it up. I can build it up, build it up, build it up. And over time, my oil paintings take me a fair amount of time, but I can build them up, and you create a lot of depth that way, and richness in color.
Here's a
And
question.
I like my paintings to have a lot of texture to them.
Question for you. What
Yes.
type of oil paints are you using, and what is the difference between oil paint and acrylic?
Well, oil paint, acrylic is water-based, oil paint is oil-based. That's the biggest difference. So one of the greatest advantages you have with painting in oil is the fact that an oil painting takes days to dry. Days. And so you have the luxury of being able to push that paint around, and it can be very, very rich as well. And so that's one of the things I love about oil painting, is the richness of color and the ability to move that paint around for days. So that being said, I can come in here and just work it. I mean, I'm sitting in, this is stuff that I did yesterday, and I'm able to go in and rework over the top of it, whereas I wouldn't be able to do that with acrylic paint. And so acrylic paint has, because it's water-based, dries much quicker. Now, some people see that as an advantage, and that's cool. And for what, every medium has its advantages and disadvantages, right? And so, I love acrylic paint for it's a rich color medium, and it dries quick. It tends to go a little chalkier when it's fully dried than oil. Oil really retains its richness. There we go.
Have you ever tried using oil pastels?
I've never tried oil pastel. Never have. And I had a lot of friends that did them in college. to really great effect. I just never did.
What was your first official job as an artist after graduating?
My first official job as an artist after graduating from college was a cleanup artist or assistant animator at Disney. I was an assistant in the animation department, and that's where I learned the ropes to become an animator. It was a great job. I loved it. And it really gave me the tools to continue doing what I do today.
Someone says technically you can varnish your acrylic paintings to bring them back to life.
Oh, you absolutely can. Yes. Not even technically. I do varnish my acrylic paintings. I'm just saying before you varnish them, they tend to dry a little chalky. And actually, the way that I paint oil, because I don't use a lot of linseed oil or any linseed oil, I just use a solvent and then the paint itself. My oil paintings tend to go a bit chalky, and then I varnish them once they're dry.
What chair is that?
This is an Aeron chair, stool.
Well, any chair you're sitting in is an Aeron chair, but what brand?
Nice,
Clever.
very nice.
Very clever. What's the one medium you would like to try that you've never used before?
There's casein, which is an egg-based tempera. I really love that, and I've seen artists that really knock it out of the park. There's that. And then, let's see. I don't know, there's tons that I've never tried and I can't think of off the top of my head.
Man, it is so warm in here.
It really is. We completely failed on our air conditioner mission yesterday.
Well, I see you got the GE, and I said LG. So you went, there you go.
It was the only one they had, unfortunately. Because I was looking for the LG. I should have just taken the extra time and went over to Home Depot,
Oh, where did you go?
Lowe's.
Oh.
Jinx. From Mallory Scott, have you tried coffee painting?
Yes.
In fact, we have a whole video on coffee painting. I'll put a link in the comments.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we videotaped it. I actually spent an entire morning boiling coffee down to get it really concentrated, so we could
Got a
get some
couple of
really-
them, actually. I forgot.
What's that?
I said we have a couple of them, actually.
Yeah.
Coffee and crayons.
Oh yeah. Oh, then the coffee and on the cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Yes, yes, yes.
Do you have an air purifier when you oil paint? I had to get one because the fumes were really bothering me.
No, I don't have any fumes. I use odorless paint thinner. The paint itself doesn't have any fumes. And then, so I don't use turpentine.
Now, one issue with oil paints in general is that they themselves can be somewhat toxic, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you should be painting in a well-ventilated space, generally speaking, right?
Or just not, it's pretty much don't ingest them.
Right.
But
I know
I guess working in a well ventilated space is
I know some of them can even cause skin irritations, all kinds of stuff if you get into some of the certain types of pigments.
Yeah, well, you get into the cobalts and the cadmiums, and those are poison. So you want to be careful. I had a friend that used to put his paintbrush in his mouth. I don't know why he did it. College friend of mine. He's a kook.
The paint side?
The paint side, yes.
Weird.
It was weird.
Does oil paint make it more difficult to paint specific things like glass, water, or fabric?
No, I mean oil paint is just like any other medium. Once you get the ins and outs of the medium, then you can do whatever you want with it. The way I'm painting is very heavy, very direct. There's other artists that paint very delicate and very light approach. I tend to go more, like I said, heavy and then I like to glaze scumble, not really glaze, but scumble color over the top.
Someone just said, my biggest problem with oil painting is cleaning the brushes. It's such a hassle.
It's not that bad if you get into the right habit. I have a certain way that I clean my brushes.
We should do a video on that. How I clean my brushes.
Will your books be out soon?
Yes, they are out to the printer now.
Actually, if we have the book slide, we should put that up when you get a chance. Yeah, the books are out to the printer. We're expecting them to start shipping sometime late next month is the goal. So
There we go. There they are.
you can go to creatureartteacher.com/books and pre-order them now for a special discount because once they're out, that price goes up.
Yes.
2 books, actually.
Yes. They are indeed too.
There we go. I love doing this kind of stuff where there's all different kinds of values, and it's like solving a puzzle. And it's really difficult at first. But then once you get the first initial pass down, then you can go in and it's just a lot of what I'm doing now. It's just refining little areas and fun. Fun.
Frank on YouTube says, "Hi Aaron, this is perfect timing. I just started your oil painting course earlier this week, and I'm working on my first commission portrait.
Wow.
Just wanted to say thank you for the live streams and the courses."
That's super cool. Thanks for saying so. Since I've been doing this oil painting, a lot of people don't see me doing oil painting very often. They don't realize that I paint in oil, or they just don't see me do it. And a lot of people keep saying, "Wow, you do so many different things." And I really do try to make a habit from an artistic standpoint. I've always been a painter. And as a painter, I've always tried different mediums, whether it be watercolor, acrylic, oil, and try to get those mediums down as not as a master, but at least get adept at them. And then along came digital art, and I found that really fascinating in animation. And I've always loved animation. So the point I'm trying to make is, if you have the opportunity, get in there and try as many different mediums as you can. You'll grow as an artist, very much so.
What size brushes and brand are you using of the brushes?
The brushes, the brand doesn't really matter, because what is this one? This one's Master's Touch. Master's Touch brushes. I'm really rough on my brushes, especially oil brushes. So I use them up and throw them away and buy new ones. So they're pretty cheap. And then size, this is like a 1/4 inch flat. I like using flats, both in oil painting and watercolor.
Hi, Twitch question. Hi, I may have missed it, but can you talk a little bit about your color palette you've chosen for this particular painting?
Yes. So I didn't choose a specific color palette. I use basically the same palette every time I paint. I find that the palette, and that's, I should vary up my palette from time to time, but I don't. For this one, I've got cerulean blue, ultramarine blue. And then for the skin tones and the background and all that, I use a fair number of earth tones. I've got yellow ochre, burnt sienna, raw umber. And then I get a lot of mileage out of my olive green, which is very much an earth tone, and alizarin crimson. Those two colors really give you rich darks, dark browns. And when you mix in some ultramarine blue, can give you very rich blacks. And so that really becomes the basis for the painting. And then, you know, something like the color of this dress, which is a very unique color. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get it, but I am getting it with a cerulean blue, a little bit of sap green, and a little bit of cad yellow, and then white. And then, you know, different variations different variations in the amount of each to get different values and different temperatures as well. But I've got cad red and cad orange in there as well. That rounds out the entire thing.
What do you think the best way to enter the animation industry is if I'm from a third world country? It's so intimidating to think about it, and I have so many doubts about that.
Well, the first thing is you want to be as good as you can be. So make sure that you're creating, it doesn't matter where you're from, just make sure you're creating really quality work. Now, as far as getting into the industry, one of the great things is that the world is getting smaller with the internet and streaming companies. And actually, for as horrible as COVID is, COVID did the animation industry a little bit of a favor in the fact that a lot of artists now are just working from home. Animation studios discovered that they can do that and save money on overhead as far as keeping a building open and things like that. And I think we're going to see a lot more people working from home, which is great for people working in different countries.
Not only that, a lot more studios put animation into production because they couldn't really easily do live action.
That's exactly right. So animation really flourished during the COVID days. So there's some really interesting things happening in the animation industry that, especially for people from outside the animation, quote, centers like Los Angeles and whatnot, that if you live in, you know, if you don't live in those centers, you still have this ability to be part of that world just by sheer, you know, internet abilities.
Question for Aaron. What artistic movements do you feel have the most influence on your art?
Without a doubt, Impressionism. Without a doubt. This painting is very much an impressionistic painting. I'm not getting in here and working out every detail. I'm painting the impression of what I see.
See, that's interesting because I think a lot of people, when they think Impressionism, they think like Monet.
Which is Impressionism, absolutely.
No, I agree, but I think people don't realize that there's degrees.
Yes, exactly.
So there's like a spectrum of
There
Impressionism.
is definitely a big spectrum of Impressionism, and so that when I discovered Impressionism as an artist in my late teens, it really light bulbs went off for me, and I really loosened up a lot.
Have you ever tried drawing anime or manga?
Not really, a little bit, as demos, as people have asked me to do it.
I think we should do one on a live stream one day, just
Yeah.
to do it. I make it. Aaron tries manga.
I just contaminated my color.
Do you need a paper towel or anything?
I got it right here. The other thing too is when you're mixing colors, certain colors have certain staining strengths. Like the cadmium colors are very, very strong. The cerulean blue is super weak. So I got to use a lot of it to keep the cerulean color. And so I was using a lot of cerulean earlier, and I just went over and just dipped into my cadmiums and completely killed the color because I want to get a nice skin tone, but I don't want it to be too harsh, and I went too harsh. I went too harsh.
Too harsh.
Too harsh. What is
do
it
you
too harsh?
pre-draw the picture when you do a painting?
Yes, yes. This was pre-drawn in pencil with an ebony pencil, and then I seal it with a spray, a fixative, and then I come back in again later and tone it, and that's what this very loose painting, the brown painting is, and then I let that sit for a day to set up, and then I come back in and I start working in color. And that's how I basically build up the painting.
Rob Fiore says, this is more like Manet, you're painting, that style, like...
Yes.
Instead of Monet.
Rob Fiore.
Yep.
Hey, man.
After this figure drawing with clothes course comes out, any idea what course will come out next?
Shoot, we got a couple of them coming out
We've got a bunch coming out from other teachers.
from other teachers. Yeah.
We've got a course in the works from Armand Serrano. Anybody who knows him, he's an amazing artist. Look him up if you don't know him. We've got another course on storyboarding, advanced storyboarding from Lyndon Ruddy coming out. We've got another course in the early works from David Coleman. We've got a couple other courses that we can't announce yet. And then for you, I'm imagining you'll probably, if you follow the pattern we've been following, your next course will probably either be something animation related or animal.
Yeah, and I'm going to be backing off just a touch on the number of courses I do. I'm going to keep going, but Nick and I are making a concerted effort this year to jump over and get Snow Bear done.
Finally.
Yes. So that's going to be our big drive.
And also there's the introduction to photography. Which
Yes, there's one from Dustin. We forgot. Sorry, Dustin.
It's
Have-
okay.
have you-
We'll get that when that one's ready.
Have you ever tried comic art?
Yes. Not as a living.
What's a good way to study Impressionism, like the mindset behind it?
Well, there's plenty of books on Impressionism that you can look up. But it's really, blur your eyes. Look at the subject. Look outside and blur. To get rid of the detail, kind of blur your eyes at them, and that's the basic notion of Impressionism. You're getting the impression of what's out there, and you're not. For me, Impressionism is more about the, getting the right value structure and the right color and temperature. Not really worrying about detail, except where you want to guide the eye. So I tend to put a little more detail where I want the eye to go. And then from there, finish off the painting accordingly. Sorry, I started thinking about some color here, and my brain went blank.
How do you mix the colors and not get mud color?
I make sure I try not to mix any more than 2 colors to at least get 90% there. And then a lot of times I'll use that third color to just push it in a temperature, one direction or the other. But you try not to, the key is not to use too many colors. And to understand if you're using complementary colors, tertiary colors, analogous colors, those types of things.
Hey Dustin, how important is the f-stop in wildlife photography? And Aaron, this is beautiful. Who is your model?
This is my stepdaughter, Gloria. This is Vedanta, my girlfriend / fiancée. This is her daughter.
And I'd say the f-stop is pretty important because if you have a high enough f-stop, which is a lower number, you'll be able to increase the shutter speed more and also be able to use less ISO, which will allow you to have a crispier, sharper image in the end.
Well, it's also, if you just have the wrong f-stop, you're going to have a picture that's either too dark or too blown out.
Well, it's not only that, but also if you want a really shallow depth of field, a good f-stop provides that too. So I would say all 3 exposures have different importance to each one, but f-stop is just as important. So fine lens has got a good f-stop.
Question: I have a hard time mixing colors in oil paint. Do you have any exercises to suggest? I'm trying to get the colors.
Yeah, try doing some value steps. Set up a values chart from 0 to 10, and try to hit them not just value wise from light to dark, but also try to do it temperature wise, chroma, that sort of thing. Going from say yellow to violet, where you're going across the color wheel, or yellow to green, where you're going diagonal across the wheel. There's different things you can try that will give you a better control of your color.
Any plans to do, speaking of Violet, another Miss Violet short?
Yes. Absolutely. Just got to get there.
How long does it typically take to finish a painting such as this one?
Something like this usually takes me a couple of weeks. How we doing over there, fellas?
Doing good.
I didn't know where you were. I didn't know you were behind me.
I was just coming over here just to check on the camera angles.
It looks like Gabby just hopped in.
Hey, Gabster. So I'm just going to indicate a couple of little bits here where light would get picked up.
For all out your questions here on Facebook.
I'm all out of questions.
I'm so lost without you.
The other thing too is get in the habit of getting up and stepping back. I'm not going to do it. I can't do it during the live stream here because I'm basically all wired in here. But if you're doing a large oil painting like this and you want to keep it fairly loose, but you also want to make sure that everything you're putting in is making sense, get in the habit of getting up and stepping back so that you can see what it is you're doing and see if it's coming together. There we go. So I got a new home gym. Just been working on that in the last several days. Man, awesome.
Yeah.
There we go. Trying to get these little edges of this, I don't know if it's chiffon or whatever the heck it is.
Chiffon?
Chiffon?
Chiffon.
Besides anatomy, drawing, and perspective, what other subjects should I master to improve my drawing skills?
I would say just quick drawing as well. You know, sitting down and drawing people, landscapes, places. Get used to doing that quickly, laying in, you know, you see a subject. There we go. And just jotting it down. Quick sketching is such a skill. It's really tough. And but it's a great skill to have as an artist.
Facebook question. The Wacom 1 is finally selling in stores in my country. Is that a good starting tablet for beginners?
Yes, I think it is. What do you think, Nick?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, we've got one, and I loved it. I don't use it as often because I have a much larger Cintiq, but we use it when we go on the road.
Will you be painting the background garden in this?
No. I'm going to be handling the background pretty much like here. I might hit some stuff down below on the ground, but as far as the background out here, I want her to be the focal point. I'm spitting all over the canvas as I'm talking. So no, I'm not going to be hitting a lot of that.
There's a little bit of you in every painting.
That's right.
If I pull out my stored oil paints, some of them are quite old. How old is too old? Should I maybe just chuck them and buy new ones?
No. As long as they're still malleable, then they're fine. Oil paint lasts, it'll last forever. As long as the medium inside hasn't dried, then you can use them forever.
Do you think it's more important to become a specialist in one element of animation rather than learning to do everything to get hired?
No. I think nowadays, especially, it's much better to be a generalist coming into the industry because it broadens your chances of getting a job. And once you're in the studio, you can get more specific. But having the ability to do a lot of different things is such a beneficial trait to have. And it's really a lot of the young people are the ones that have that. It's the older artists, a lot of them don't have that. You know, they know a lot of things, but they just don't have the same abilities that a lot of the younger artists coming into the industry today have. And it's beneficial for those younger artists to have that ability. So I would I would really recommend doing that. Being a generalist.
Some people are commenting on like the coffee-like color to the background, and do you want to maybe explain why you do that underwash? Because people might not understand that.
Yeah, so I do the underpainting just to give myself a sense of value structure, light and dark, and then from there, it's a monochromatic painting basically is what I'm doing.
I know you abandoned the one on the table, but do you think we should...
What's that?
I know you abandoned the one that's on your table, but do you think we should show that? Because that would...
Yeah, I could show that.
Show that really well.
Because that one, I went and did it with just a brush, and that's outside my usual way of doing things, and I kind of screwed the pooch on it.
Is it wet?
No, it's not wet.
Show it real quick.
Yeah. So here's one before. There we go. So this one here that's pretty much where I would take it before color. A lot of times when I'm out doing landscape painting, this is how I'll lay it in. But when I'm doing something more studio oriented, I like to get in there and draw it. And in this case, I just jumped in with a brush, and I shouldn't have because I let it get away from me. I got really frustrated with the painting, so I decided to put it aside. And I didn't like the pose either. The pose is very kind of stiff, and so I decided to go with a different pose, which is this one here, where she's looking off to the side. And I just took more of my time with it, and ended up paying off in the end. Or I haven't reached the end yet, but it is paying off.
Have you used Winsor Newton liquid medium?
You know, I've never. I used to use Liquin back in college. I don't really use it now. I like to just let my paints dry. Liquid is a medium. It's a gel medium that you can add to your oil, and it gives it some viscosity, which is nice, but it dries quicker. And I've gotten lazier and lazier over the years, and I really just use paint thinner as my medium.
Is that the only one you use? Like, what other ones have you used in the past?
Well, linseed oil and Damar varnish and all that, and you can mix it and you can do a lot of glazing, and that's a very traditional way of oil painting. To me, it's too much work. I just want to get in there and paint.
What are your thoughts about the Ghibli masterpieces?
The Ghibli masterpieces. What are the Ghibli masterpieces?
Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, I know, but which I don't know. I mean, every.
What are your thoughts on the?
Oh, you mean the paintings or the animation?
The animation, yeah.
Oh, they're masterpieces. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
No, they are absolutely wonderful. I love them.
Do you set up with raw sienna or burnt amber for your underpaintings?
My underpainting is actually alizarin crimson and olive green.
Huh. It looks like
Yeah, it does. It looks like
an amber or a
Umber.
sienna.
yeah. No, but it's actually alizarin crimson. I mean, I've done that for years. Alizarin crimson and olive green.
Do you think one day technology is going to get so far that we'll be able to draw with our mind?
Well, we already draw with our mind. We just do it through our hand. But yeah, probably.
What will you do with the painting you just showed? Will you end up gessoing over that and turn it into another painting?
Yes.
Do you think that one day technology is gonna go as far as letting us?
I just
draw
asked
our
that.
Oh, you did.
Remember when he said that?
Trying to juggle here. Did you ever ask about the sienna and amber question?
Yeah. There we go.
Well, then I'm.
All out of questions. It's a little bit too late. I want to go and darken that a little bit. There we go. See, I like getting just nice chunky. One of my favorite figurative painters, and it's kind of, some people like it, some people really don't like his work. I think he's got the record for the highest selling, monetarily, the highest selling piece of art for a living artist before the
NFTs.
yeah, the NFT, by a guy named Lucian Freud.
Yeah.
Really love his work.
He's Freud's grandson, right? Sigmund Freud's grandson?
That I didn't know.
No, he is related to him. I just can't remember if he's his grandson or if he's...
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I wouldn't be surprised. I think I did hear that. I think maybe you told me that. But very cool work. It can be pretty kind of grotesque in the way that he portrays his figures, but I really like it. And it's the way he applies the paint. It's the same way that I try to do it. Just really direct and building up color on top of color on top of color.
Yeah, he's his grandson.
Oh, okay, cool.
Or was his grandson. Lucian
Yeah,
died
he
in
passed
2011.
away, what?
2011.
I was going to say a few years ago.
10 years ago now.
I know, 2011. Oh yeah, just the other day. No, it's 10, 11 years ago.
Time is but a construct.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
It gets faster and faster as you get older.
Did you answer Miranda Hauser's question?
Don't know.
Did you ask that one there?
I'm not looking at it. What's the
No.
question?
There's hi Aaron.
Hey, how's it going?
My name is Miranda Hauser. You were a guest speaker at my in my class with Reagan Dunnett, and I wanted to know if you had any tips on book publishing, and is it worth investing in an agent right out of college?
You know, I don't have advice on that, and I don't know if Nick does. He might know a little more.
Well,
than
generally speaking, an agent will not take you on until you've already done some commercial work. is how it works. They typically just won't represent. It's kind of a weird chicken and the egg
Yeah.
scenario. As far as book publishing goes, the only advice that I can give you in that regard is, unless you have an absolute reason not to, I would self-publish. There's so many options now with self-publishing. You can control so many more aspects of it. Working with a publisher is great.
And keep your volume, keep the runs low too.
Yeah, I mean, it also depends
that
on
ability.
what type of book you're trying to do. I mean, there's certain things, children's book illustration is different from comic books, is different from this, is different from that. So, but as far as getting an agent goes, that's typically not going to happen until you've already got some professional work under your belt. And I know that because I used to teach with old Regan Dunnick at Ringling.
Yep.
And also, we would bring in agents to talk to artists, and that's what they would say. Or talk to the students, I should say.
Just trying to get a nice kind of medium value here on this dress color and go a little bit warm with it. Still a little bit light here. There. We're getting these nice little subtle colors in here.
Have you given this model any paintings or drawings of her? And if so, what did she think of them?
No, these are really my first. I did one digital painting of Gloria, and she really liked it. I need to get it printed. Oh, speaking of which, Nick, it's my granddaughter's birthday this weekend, and she really was hoping to get a poster printed of some of my mermaid paintings.
Sure. This weekend? So tomorrow, you mean?
Oh yeah, tomorrow.
Thanks for the heads up.
Well, I'm not going to the party right away, so we got a couple days.
Hey.
Yeah, you know. There we go. The other thing too is I like to generally do my oil painting dark to light. When I'm doing something like this though, I'll jump around from, I'll just jump all over the place.
How do you make your skin color? Do you mix yellow and red, or do you use
No, my skin
a flesh
tone.
tone?
Yeah, I start with a flesh tone, usually an ochre, and then I mix varying amounts of like alizarin crimson, which gives it a nice, get some red in there. But I also bring in olive green, which tones it down a little bit. And it's just varying amounts of each of those, depending if I want it to be warm. Then also bringing in white, more maybe some cadmium red for some pink hues. It really depends on what's happening with the skin tone.
It's funny, I can't unsee it now, but people are commenting. There's an ear in the middle of the dress.
There's an ear in the middle of the dress.
Right here, I can totally see it.
Yeah.
Just an
Oh,
ear.
that. Oh, yeah. I saw that early on. That's good to see the rose, that rose kind of shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to go away. That's what it'll become.
But especially in the color it is right now,
Yeah.
it looks like an ear.
I'm gonna emphasize it. And see, this is one of the things about doing the underpainting. You notice I'm basically painting the same value, the same light and dark, but I'm changing the color, changing the chroma.
This looks alla prima. Do you prefer
Yes.
this? Yeah. Do you prefer that over layering, or is it subject dependent?
I prefer it over layering. I always paint alla prima. I just like to do it. Now I'll layer over this, so I'll end up with some pretty thick paint on here, and that's something I really love as well. There's an animal artist who I'm a huge fan of, who's passed, and he was a painter around the turn of the century named Carl Rungius, who's very much a very thick alla prima painter when it came to animals and landscape and all that. And his paint was so built up.
Twitch question: why do you prefer painting from a printout versus from a computer monitor?
Because I can't get a computer monitor over here. That's the only reason.
You know, if only there was a little portable tablet with a screen that they made.
Yeah, well, it would be very difficult to show that on the.
I'm just kidding. I mean, it doesn't really matter to you, right? Whether
No.
it's
Because I'm making up. I mean, to me, the reference is just a suggestion anyway. That's not. I don't end it there.
Do you need some water? You sound a little.
I'm getting a little hoarse. I'm a pony. I'm getting a little hoarse.
Is that a drink or is that
That is coffee. I'll just
no, some water?
I'll drink my coffee. I'm okay. Thank you.
Coffee.
World's best cup of coffee.
Good job.
You did it. Great job. World's best cup of coffee.
Oh, that's funny. So here, I mean, there's a whole bunch of the painting right in here where it's really just a couple of different values. It's a kind of a light, dark, and then really light. And so I'm just going to focus on that and just get that in there. It's all this stuff in here.
What do you think of the works of Diego Rivera?
I don't know, Diego. I have to see it in order to remember it. I don't remember who Diego Rivera is.
Yeah, you do.
Do I? Is it the big round characters?
He's the famous Mexican painter that was, I think he's the one that was married to Frida Kahlo. I can't remember.
Is he the one
Yeah,
that-
yep,
that-
he was married to Frida Kahlo. Yes, it is the big. He did a lot of the big round fingers.
Yeah,
figures.
I love him.
Yep.
I thought he
But,
was
oh,
Colombian.
he also does the murals. He's the muralist. That's what he
Oh.
is. He does the famous murals. Lots of bright colors.
Yeah.
funny when you're put on the spots with names. Like,
Oh, I'm terrible.
art history, come back to me.
Oh, I have no problem saying I don't remember though too, and and people look at me like I'm an idiot. I've just gotten so used to being looked at like I'm an idiot.
I know you said it earlier. This question from Erica, by the way. What colors did you mix to make the dress color?
It's mainly white, cerulean blue, and then it's varying amounts of like yellow ochre or depending on how bright I want to go with it, cadmium yellow, light. But it's a pain in the butt color to mix and to keep it vibrant. I might just go in here with a bigger brush and just really lay it in thick and then come back later with a detail brush and get some of these little details that I'm trying to put in now. I don't know, that might be me just being impatient though too.
Hey, Aaron, Dustin, and Nick. Dustin, I love today's camera shot. It's very artistic.
Hey.
Thank you. Well, I didn't post one today.
They mean the live stream.
Oh, the live stream. Thank you.
You know, sometimes it's about me, Dustin.
You're a more bigger deal than I am.
Do you prefer digital painting or traditional painting?
I love them both. Obviously I love traditional painting because of the ability to have a physical painting at the end. But I love digital because of the ease with which you can create an image.
Do you ever mix any mediums into your oils so that they dry quicker or enhance the brush flow?
No, I don't. I do not.
Ever?
Ever.
Ever.
Never, ever. Do I ever.
Never has he ever.
What do you think about Bob Ross?
I think Bob Ross is awesome. Bob Ross brought painting to the masses. He was an awesome guy. Basically just preached all kinds of good stuff.
Are you going to do any Junicorn art?
Any what?
You know how there's mermaid? Well, now there's Junicorn.
Junicorn?
Yeah, you do a unicorn every day for June.
Yeah, no. I mean, maybe. I didn't know it was a thing.
Well, there you go. It's a thing. Deal with it. We're getting to the point where months are becoming multiple things.
Yeah.
There's only 12 months. They can't all be.
Quick, we got to come up with something.
How about Jalion?
Jalion.
Different animal portrait, a different lion portrait every day. You heard it here first, folks. Hashtag Jalion.
There we go. There we go.
People are saying, "Oh my God, please make Jalion a thing."
I did it, Nick.
Let's do it. We'll come up with, say, 30 days has that time right, Virginia? We need 31 lion prompts.
That's right up our alley. You know, this is a really good lesson also when you're doing something like this in how values look different from one place to the other. On my palette, this looks very, very light, almost too light. But when I put it on the canvas, it really darkens. Really just kind of mixing, and I like to mix with my brush right on the canvas a lot of times. It's almost like finger painting. I like to get really loose with it. I'm going to get a pretty large amount of paint here.
Do you have any thoughts on water mixable oils? I use them so that my brushes are a bit easier to clean, and I don't use anything that has smelly fumes, but I don't know if I'm missing out.
I've never used them, and I've never heard anything good about them.
Have you
So,
heard bad about them?
Just that they're really globby. They don't act the same as real oils, is what I've heard. But I've never used them, so I don't know. So I'm not a good one to ask. All right. So I'm just going to come in here now and start hitting these light values. Start filling in some of these areas.
Oh, September.
Oh,
That's Martin Berger came up with that one.
Martin Berger, you're a genius.
Freaking genius.
Here, let's get that one while it's hot. Martin, can we have that, please?
And that's my birthday month. That's perfect.
September. Are you kidding me? That's perfect. We should have that. Martin, I'll give you an original. I love it. Genius.
Freaking genius.
September. Oh man. I've already got ideas now. Oh, I love going thick like this. Boom. Very alla prima. How you doing over there, Dustin?
Pretty good.
Someone just said, for that matter, you can do September, October, November, and December.
True. It is kind of obvious, isn't it?
Yeah. I actually do like September because December because it's winter, Christmas.
Yeah. Kind of feel like a
Full of bears.
dumbass now.
Any more questions?
Yeah, just not getting to them yet. Letting them paint.
There we go.
How do you like to achieve impasto effects without the use of liquid or other mediums?
How do I like to what? What effects?
Impasto, like
I just throw the paint right on there. Pretty much the way I'm doing it here.
oh, ape rule. There's another one.
Ape.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one. Whew. It's exhausting. Makes your brain hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and there's our little dog pooping right in the middle of the the porch. You get a shot of that, Dustin.
Oh, that's a big one.
He's only 6 pounds, and he just dropped a 7-pound poop.
That math doesn't sound right.
He just floated away. He went to the negative weight.
Whee! You fucking on so long, folks. I'll see you in heaven.
And he's still, oh,
Hmm.
he's still working it. Now he's just got a bunch stuck to his butt. Nice.
Play by play.
What's that?
Play by play.
Yeah. Doc is out there with a paper towel right now.
Think nothing might overheard you talking.
She was watching the stream. Yeah. Do you always use reference, or do you sometimes just go with the flow of inspiration?
Very often I just go with the flow of inspiration. Not usually with big oil paintings. Big oil paintings, I'm usually using reference. So I'm just kind of deciding to move in just pretty loosely with everything in here and just start laying it all in. And then I'm going to build it up, and build it up some more. Go. Now this area here is really bright, but I'm going to lay it in with about half a step darker than what it will be. I'm going to really put some bright color over the top of this. But I'm going to start it with this first. There we go. Starting to get there. My big thing is I have a hard time waiting until the next day to start scumbling color in there, and a lot of times I'll scumble color before it's set up, and I'll kind of start making a mess of it. I got to be careful about that.
For those that joined us late, I just want to mention that we're having a 50% off sale on your oil painting course this weekend because you're doing oil painting today.
That's right.
I figured. And then also this weekend is your last chance to get 35% off the annual membership on our website. So, which is gets you everything on the website plus everything we release over the next year for one low price
Yes. So check it out.
at creatureartteacher.com.
.com.
CreatureArtTeacher.com.
Yeah.
That actually worked, Dustin. That tune does work to that.
Yellowstone National Park.
I can't resist. I'm going to get some pure white.
What are you doing?
Grabbing some pure white. Pure energy.
It's full of pure energy.
Pure energy.
The energy is pure.
What was that? So there was a song back in the 80s. It was like a dance techno song, club song, and it would cut to Spock. And Spock would go, pure energy.
I don't know.
Maybe it might be just called pure energy.
Aaron, how do I get a traditional painting look in my digital art?
For me, it's about the brushes that you create. And, and you can create surfaces as well, although I think that's secondary. But it really is about the brushes. If you can get really kind of naturalistic brushes, that's huge.
Samantha says, I bought the membership last year and renewed again this year. I love the tutorials and the brushes are all awesome.
Thank you. I love hearing that. Who was that?
Samantha.
Hey, Samantha, thank you. So I'm just laying in pure white in some of these areas. And I'll hit it again later when it dries even more. Because the paint's so wet, I'm really not getting pure white out of it because it's mixing with the paint under it.
I've never tried oil painting. Does it feel different from using acrylics?
Yes, very much so.
How
Oil
so?
paint feels very different from acrylics. As watercolor feels different from both of them, and so on and so forth. So, yes, they all feel very different from one another. Usually when I paint white, that's the thickest paint that I put on. There we go.
Any in-person workshops in Florida anytime soon?
Probably within a year, I would say, because we have kind of crossed, at least in Florida, or no, I mean, internationally. Nationally, they've if you've been vaccinated, they've lifted the ban on gathering. Right? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think we could do it if everyone's in our group would be vaccinated.
But we don't have any plans probably till next year
Yeah.
for an in-person event.
We are in talks right now with Chuck Williams about doing a virtual event in the next month or two. We can tell you more about that in the coming weeks. For those of you that don't know, Chuck Williams was my directing and partner and producer for Brother Bear. He was producer for Brother Bear and then directing partner after that.
Chuck has two great courses on our website on story development and how to pitch.
Yes,
He's an expert at it.
he really is.
He also helped get the Sonic the Hedgehog movie off the ground.
He was really
Last
instrumental
year?
in that. Yeah.
Yep. That was actually, I believe that was the biggest hit of 2020 as a result of COVID. It was the last big movie.
Oh,
Wow.
Sonic?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that. Well, a lot of people, like, don't get me wrong, it's an amazing movie, but if they continue the course of when they released the very first trailer, it wouldn't been as good. So I feel a lot of people went not just to enjoy the movie, but also to pay respects to all the guys that worked their butts off to make the changes on Sonic. Because you heard about that whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah, my friend directed the movie.
Yeah?
Jeff. I went to school with him.
Yeah.
Jeff Fowler.
Nice.
He's doing the sequel too, which is already
I
filming.
can't wait to see that. I remember seeing the Sonic and seeing that cliffhanger of Tails. I'm like, oh yes, sequel coming. Cannot wait.
Did you sing like that?
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bop.
Are you a wizard?
Yes.
You're a wizard, Aaron.
You're a wizard.
You're a wizard, Aaron.
You're a wizard, Aaron.
I can make cupcakes disappear.
Huh?
I can make cupcakes disappear. You're a wizard, Aaron. That was funny, Dustin.
Why, thank you.
I'm going to take back some of the things I've said about you. Some of them. It's a Ghostbusters quote.
I'm gonna miss him.
How we doing on time, fellas?
It is 2:38. We've
Been at it about an hour and a half.
A little over an hour and a half, yeah.
Feels like 3.
I know, right? I think it's the heat in here. Heat's making time travel faster.
Slow down.
You do have like 20 windows in this room.
Yeah, but none of them are direct sunlight. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
but it's still just glass letting light. I mean, you're still just.
But they should be insulated windows.
Yeah, but I mean, insulated windows only do so much. When you got this much
Yeah.
glass coming in, it's just gonna heat up.
I mean, if you close the windows, then it could help a little bit.
Oh, if you close the windows, you'd get a huge temperature difference.
Yeah.
And just be depressed.
Yeah.
I'm not a closed window guy. So I'll send the heat.
Next week on Painting from the Sauna.
It's hot in here.
My watercolors won't dry.
Meanwhile, painting in the sauna.
It's hot in here.
And back to you. How is it in the ice tub?
It's cold.
Actually, I'm going to get in that pool later on.
Oh yeah. I have a feeling that the moment we end the stream, you're just gonna rip the lapel mic off, just destroy everything in your path, and just dive right in the pool.
That's a nice idea. Probably not, but it's a nice idea.
I do want to ask people, we don't ask this very often, but if you do enjoy these streams, please share them or hit the like button or the subscribe button or whatever.
And smash
channel-
that subscribe button.
Yeah, whatever it is you're watching, just help us spread the word. It definitely helps a lot.
My favorite way of saying hit the like button is from Jacksepticeye. He used to say,
Push that like button in the face like a boss.
like he was just so full of energy. I absolutely love him.
Who is that?
Jacksepticeye, he's a Irish Let's Play gamer.
Oh.
Like he was one of the first on YouTube. Right up there with Markiplier and PewDiePie. But
We'll get some of these, the edges of,
Do hair dryers help with oil painting?
not really, no.
yeah, that's
Unless you want to blow dry it for an hour and a half. No, they don't really do much.
What's your quick tip to blending color?
I put the color next to each other, and then I run the brush right down the seam, and then I'll just scumble a little bit. And that tends to do the trick. I used to use a fan brush, but that can get really mechanical looking. That looks kind of cool, huh?
Yeah, it looks pretty sweet.
It's looking pretty sharp.
Look, it's sharp.
See, it's these little details. You can get in there and basically just mash paint around, but then you go in with these little details and it draws the eye and kind of pulls everything together. That's something I learned when, matte painting and things like that. You can really fool the eye with just a lot of mishmashing and then just hit little areas of detail where the eye can settle and kind of make sense of everything. And you get away with a lot.
What's the purpose of the red lines on the reference image?
It just helped me grid the painting, the composition into 4 pieces. It made it a little easier to do the drawing. Because without it, I just was having a hard time gauging proportions. When I start drawing big, I have a hard time gauging proportion.
Gotcha.
So I'll use a little bit of a grid to help me out.
Did you put the same grid on the canvas?
I did, very, very lightly. You can't see it.
I think you should put the red lines in the painting at the end.
That's crazy talk. You don't know what you're talking about. That's just crazy. So we're getting there. We are getting there.
Aaron, have you ever used a wet palette for your paint? It's really helped me keep my acrylic paint good while I'm detailing.
Yes. When I do acrylics, that's what I use as a wet palette. Matter of fact, I've got a wet palette in the bin right next to Nick, right where he's sitting. Yeah, I'm going to wrap this up. We're going to wrap it up here, folks.
People are asking us to do a live workshop in Northern California.
I would love that, actually.
That's a beautiful area.
Yep.
I still haven't been to Sequoia.
Sequoia would be an amazing... Actually, I'm so glad you brought that up. Let's do a live workshop in Sequoia.
That would be awesome.
Sequoia is one of my favorite places in the world. One of the most magical environments I've ever been to.
Hi, from Colombia. I know Aaron visited here a few years ago. What did you like most about the country?
The people. I love the people. We had Nick was there too. Nick and I had a lot of fun. And
yeah, we did a whole South America tour, and just by the way, a quirk of the calendar, we got to spend the most time in Colombia. We were in Bogota for a week, and man, that was such a great time.
the only mistake I made in Colombia as far as food goes was I went to and I had sushi at a restaurant, and it was a bad mistake. But that being said,
Well, didn't we get late night sushi? Wasn't that the thing?
it was I can't remember actually.
There was the one night we both got stomach ache, but I think that was...
No, that was in Santiago, Chile.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Chile. All right, well, let's wrap it up. All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to go ahead and wrap up as our batteries are going to run out here. And my internal battery is running out. So, that being said, go on over to creatureartteacher.com. We've got a sale going on my oil painting course. If you've been watching this and you're interested in learning how to paint in oil, I've got an entire course that takes you through my process and exactly what I'm doing today. And it's a lot of fun. You'll be painting one of the lions that we photographed and observed while we were in Africa 2 years ago. And I can't believe that's been 2 years. Well, it's been a year and a half, I guess.
Yeah.
Close.
We've also got 35% off memberships. That ends this weekend. That gets you the oil painting course plus everything else on there. I think we might be over 400 hours of content now. I need to total it up. And thousands of brushes.
Well, there goes a light.
Oh,
Oh, light down. Light down.
So anyway, thanks a lot, you guys, for coming out and joining us today. It was a lot of fun doing our first oil painting live. I'll do more of these since now that we've got the new studio set up and we're slowly dialing it in. We're going to have some really cool live streams, I think, in the near future.
Give this video a thumbs up if the sound was better today, too.
Oh, yeah, we worked, Nick and Dustin really worked hard on getting the sound right and dealing with my grumpiness over the last couple of weeks about not having the sound right. So, it's just awesome. The sound is great. Oh, there goes another light.
Oh, yeah.
We're going down fast.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Have a great week, you guys. We'll be back again next Friday, and I'll probably be done with this, so we'll be working on something else. But I hope you have a great week. Have a very safe weekend. Have a lot of fun out there. Be nice to each other, and go put some beauty back in the world. And I will talk to you next week. Thanks. Bye.
Cowboy Bebop.
Later.